This is your Meta chart. Meta had a great day. Look at the vertical move. I still remember, guys, in themoneystocks.com, verified investing alerts, where I put out my trades and my trade signals. We had this monster move. If you guys remember in 2022, it was all about Zuckerberg spending all this money on the metaverse. Oh my goodness, this is going to kill Facebook and da-da-da. And we saw this collapse all the way down sub 100 on Meta. And basically at these levels, I still remember being long around $110. And I was down about $20 on the trade. So I was down about, just under 20% on the trade. And people were like freaking out, like, oh my goodness. And I'm like, dude, like, again, this is not a small company. And again, as it rallied up, we made really good money on it. We made 10, 20%. I don't remember the exact amount, but it's just crazy to look back and say, wow, so I was in right around here, and look at how big of a run it made. And it's still going. Let's be fair. Now, on a technical basis, where is this going? Where's the logical technical place that this is going to go? This would be where you say, okay, double top is your resistance line. If we put a trend line in there, right around 385 is where this is likely going. We can see it right up here. And that means we're, again, 385. We're only about 15 bucks away from this. And again, it could pierce, just like the NASDAQ has pierced the all-time highs. You could pierce by a little bit, maybe touch 400. But at some point, this vertical move, if you look at the RSI on the monthly, it's pretty darn extended at this point, and it is due for a bigger corrective move as well. But again, what this shows you is the momentum, right? So when we were up here, maybe going back, and this is just educational, we probably should never have been up here at that time. But then same thing down here, price was being ruled by fear. So greed at the extremes, fear at the lows. Where is kind of your equal area? Probably somewhere in the middle in here. Now we're getting into the greed zone again of moving up. And my guess is when you get a pullback, I'll have to figure out exactly where I think it'll go, but you'll probably pull back at some point to kind of that middle ground. Remember, the markets work like a pendulum. Greed takes control and swings the pendulum one way. Then fear comes in, it swings it back. Where is equilibrium? Right dead in the middle somewhere. Somewhere in the middle there is where price usually settles or should settle until new information comes out that changes valuations. All right, guys, back we are. Here we are. So a couple things to go over. Number one, we have Bitcoin pushing up again a little bit today. The spot ETF was approved, much less fanfare than the initial fake out the prior day, but here we are. We're continuing to hover relatively well. Interestingly enough, we didn't get much volatility on the actual announcement. I think everyone kind of was exhausted from the previous day, saw that overall price didn't do a whole lot. It popped up, sold a little bit, and then here we are today. But the one thing I will say, Bitcoin is beginning to test this 48,000 level. We're almost back to 48,000. I'm still in the camp that we'll go to 48 to 50. Okay, 48 to 50 is my zone. Now, again, we know that the 618 is just a little bit higher, around 48, high 48s. We also know that we have major trend lines right around 48 to 50,000. So that's going to be the big level to watch here. One of the reasons why I think the Bitcoin chart or Bitcoin action today is somewhat on the strong side is because everyone is waiting for these ETFs to launch, right, to begin trading. And so I think you're getting hype going into it, which is pushing Bitcoin up in a short term. Now, when these things debut, if there's not a lot of price action and price doesn't spike up on that, that's where I think you could see a little bit of a sell-off come in. So again, it's kind of like the last thing we see. It's like I think there's a lot of people that are waiting for these ETFs, and maybe rightly so, to see how much interest, how much money floods into these things so they pop. Do they pop on that? And if that happens, then that's a good thing, right? I'm still hoping we get about 50,000 out of this to really tag that upper level, but that's what I'm looking at this point in time. Still thinking, again, I'm still in the camp that whether we touch 50, pierce 50, or don't even get to 50, at some point we are going to retrace to the downside on the charts.